Hello there, Broncos. I want to show you a little bit about our lesson today. We're going to be doing some more poetry, and I want to start with looking at a poetry close reading. It's called Reading with Your Pencil because you'll be annotating as you read it when you read it on your own. But first, I'm going to read My Shadow by Stevenson. Let me enlarge it a little bit so you can see it. There we go. There's an image to start it off with that helps you with the title because it's a little boy who sees his shadow. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow, not at all like proper children, which is always very slow. For he sometimes shoots up taller like an India rubber ball, and he sometimes goes so little that there's none of him at all. He hasn't got a notion of how children ought to play, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way. He stays so close behind me, he's a coward you can see. I think shame to stick to Nursey as that shadow sticks to me. One morning very early before the sun was up, I rose and found the shining dew on every buttercup. But my lazy little shadow, like an errant, sleepy head, had stayed at home behind me and was fast asleep in bed. Now you noticed that there are 4 stanzas here, and I'm sure you can pick out all the rhyming words. You probably can also get a pretty good idea of maybe how old the author is as he talks about his shadow. But those are the kind of things you make a note about and you annotate about as you read it on your own. So first read. You will read, think, and annotate, and you will use your annotation symbols as you read it. What does the poem reveal about the speaker? You would type that in here. Second read, you read it again and look for sound techniques. What did the author use to emphasize meaning? Did he use alliteration, a certain rhyming pattern or scheme, onomatopoeia, repetition? Write that in here if you notice that he used any of those types of devices. And then you also notice, you can read it again and look for the figurative language. You see any similes or metaphors? Remember, similes are comparisons that use like or as. Metaphors are also comparisons, but they don't use like or as. Sensory language or imagery, type in there that you notice, and then you read it once again, and then you figure out if you can make any connections. And what is your reaction to the poem? How did you feel about it? Did you like it and why? And then what do you think the author's theme or message is? And then name 2 strategies you used. So you put all of your responses there. And then there are some sentence starters at the end to help you. Like, I can conclude that, or after reading, I think that. So those are just to help you if you're having a little trouble starting your sentences. Based on what I read in the text, for example, in the text it said, from what I read in the text, I understand that blank. Okay? You won't use on page because it's only 1 page. But you could say in stanza 2 and then complete your sentence. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because I just wanted you to understand what you're required to do if you find that you're having any trouble at all accessing the Google Slides. You shouldn't have any trouble if you just go to Open With and open it up with Google Slides and be able to type in your answers for each one of those. So let me know if you're having trouble. Otherwise, just do it in notes or pages. That will work just fine as well. All right, you guys, get busy. Don't forget your 30 minutes of reading, and I will see you at class meeting.